Hey y'all, here are OS Reviews. Today we're taking a quick look at the iKKO Heimdallr ITB03. This is a HiFi Bluetooth DAC from the same company where we've checked out a couple of their premium IEMs in the past, which offered really good sound quality for a compact size, but this model focuses on just that DAC component, allowing you to drive more powerful, high-resolution tracks through premium headphones, and it comes with Bluetooth, so you can also connect it wirelessly with a phone or laptop, but still plug in your hi-fi sounding wired headphones and get you a higher quality playback, as well as amplification through the unit here. But of course, for the highest resolution, if you are truly an audiophile, you would want to use this in the wired mode. Transferring music over using Type-C and then a pair of headphones that you are plugged in. Again, a DAC is a digital to analog converter chip, and a higher quality one built into something like this will just be able to squeeze through more detail versus lower quality chips that are typically built into devices by default. So again, this is much more of an enthusiast, kind of audiophile type product, currently selling for around $150, which is competitive with some other dedicated DACs on the market made by companies like FIO, Shanling. If you're using it in the Bluetooth mode, it supports all the codecs, including aptX, HD, as well as LDAC, getting you the highest resolution possible out of Bluetooth. And it is using an 8K chip. More specifically, it's the 4377. It's using Bluetooth 5.0 via a Qualcomm chip for wireless transmission, and also has a built-in amplifier, which is the RT6863. For more granular controls, of course, you can always turn to manual EQ from your device, and it also does have a 650 milliamp hour capacity battery, which is rated at 8 hours of playback time. So in the box here, we have just a quick user guide, a USB Type-C to Type-A charger. There's also a Type-C to Type-C, so that's for using it in the wired DAC mode. You can plug the other Type-C port into your phone or laptop. You also get a Type-C to Lightning adapter as well, in case you want to use it in the wired mode with an iOS device. Now, taking a closer look at the design here, first of all, it is very sleek. So if we compare it with a typical smartphone these days, you get the idea. This thing is going to be similar to something like an iPod Nano or Shuffle from back in the day. Easy to slide into pockets, although there is no built-in clip or case included. It is advertised as kind of a multifunctional DAC, so you can use it not only for music, but also for watching movies and for gaming. There are some additional kind of sound profiles that are tuned to drive up the bass a little bit, make it slightly more dynamic and immersive. Now, in terms of the build, it is very solid. Like its competitors, it's crafted out of this 2.5D curved tempered glass on the front as well as on the back, so it does have a very solid feel to it, although the glass, of course, is a bit of a fingerprint magnet, so you do have to kind of wipe it down after a while. The rail is made of a solid chunk of aluminum alloy, so also feels very well put together. Bottom here just features that Type-C port. On the right-hand spine, you have access to a power key that also serves as a menu button. There's also dedicated volume keys that will also serve double duty as the skip track command. There's a center OK key for play pause and for selecting things. The top here features both a standard 3.5mm headphone jack as well as a 4.4mm audio jack as well. So that is pretty rare to find on these smaller Bluetooth DACs. When it comes to why something like this might be useful, for one, you are able to now connect your traditional wired headphones, larger studio headphones even, and connect it to a modern smartphone, which might be lacking a standard headphone jack, but still preserving the highest resolution. And as the music is being played, you also see the title of whatever is playing back there scrolling along. It will automatically resort to the highest resolution Bluetooth codec that your device is capable of. Quite easy to do things like play and pause the track, as well as adjust things like volume. It's all relatively responsive and easy enough to use. As for adjustments, we have to long hold on the power key for about 1.5 seconds to activate the different filters, aka the EQ modes that you can play around with. Again, they're not really labeled in the most intuitive way, so you have to remember that filter 1 is basically the default, 4 is classical music, so on and so forth from the instructions that we saw there earlier. So that is the area where, again, having maybe a Bluetooth app that has a larger screen to display this info would possibly be beneficial. There's some other modes, including selecting whether you want to go into a car mode, as well as the brightness level for the OLED screen has 6 different adjustments. And then finally, you can go into another kind of profile mode, where you can cycle between the aforementioned HiFi, game, movie, or music. Again, HiFi can only be unlocked if you're using it in the wired connection, but the one interesting thing here is, as you can tell, in order to access all of these different controls, we have to essentially cycle through everything from the EQ filters and then go all the way to the next pages. So there is no kind of easy way to, for example, quickly jump into the profile modes without first cycling through those previous screens. Now, when it comes to performance, thankfully, this is where the iKKO ITB03 really shines. First of all, the sound profile by default is very neutral, and it's almost like how the artist intended the sound to be like. You're not going to find overly dramatic bass or really anything like that. It just sounds quite clean, everything is well balanced, and you'll be able to hear a lot of details and nuances within the track that you would otherwise miss if just playing back from your phone directly over wireless buds, for instance. But it's also an area where, if you compare it with some of the FiO DACs, they tend to have a little bit more color to the bass. So the different profiles that you can try out, the movie mode does try to make the sound a little bit more immersive. Same with gaming, they will both slightly increase the bass by a touch more compared to the music and hi-fi modes, but even in those settings, I didn't feel like they were the most dramatic. Then in the USB DAC mode, of course, it's going to get you the highest resolution output possible, since as good as Bluetooth is at the moment, inevitably you are dropping some of the details, getting compressed when being sent wirelessly, which is really impressive and definitely a step up in most instances, unless you have something like a quad DAC LG phone. So that is more or less it as far as our quick hands-on review of the iKKO Heimdallr ITB03. All in all, I think it's a pretty good first generation attempt from this company that is, of course, specializing in hi-fi products. This is definitely not a category that will be very mainstream, especially since wireless buds these days are just so accessible and they're convenient. But for folks that are still clinging onto wired headphones just because they care more about the tiny details and nuances in the sound, they want the best possible output, then something like this will allow you to unlock that functionality, and in this case, a very versatile compact DAC that can fit in a lot of the different scenarios. You can check out additional details if interested in the links down below, but for now, that's been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews.